Well, thanks so much for coming to our talk. So my name is Alex. I'm a senior consultant in operation research at EY, and I've been with EY for the last 3 years. I had a master's degree from Lancaster University in operation research and management science, and straight after master's degree, I've joined EY in the operation research team.
And I'm Zoe, so... Zoe? Yeah, cool. I'm Zoe. I joined EY 2 years ago after finishing a master's in OR from Strathclyde, and I did my undergrad in maths at Warwick. Yes.
So we aim to introduce EY to you in the context of the operation research, and we'll tell you a bit more about what we do on a day-to-day basis and a bit about the type of projects we had over the last few years. So could you please raise your hand if you ever heard about EY? Excellent. Another question, could you raise your hand if you know or knew in the past that we also do operation research apart from accountancy services? Yeah, this is what I would expect as well. Like EY brand is really big. It's a global brand, but not many people know that we do operation research and data analytics. So, like I already said, we are spread across the globe in more than 150 countries, and the purpose of the brand and the company is to make a world a better place, and by this we mean help the businesses operate more effectively and create more jobs and also make the economy prosper. Like I already said, we're not all of us, the company is, our team is not working with the accountancy specialists at all. Like we are an operation research experts and data analytics specialists. And so we'll tell a bit more in terms of the key, where our team sits within the wider firm and also the type of industries we work.
Yeah, so it's a little bit confusing, the structure of EY, but there's basically a business modelling team which sits within transaction advisory support. So when you're looking to apply, it'll probably come under that, but we don't actually do transactions. So like Alex says, it's not financial, it's operations, as you guys are probably all more interested in. So operational research sits within the business modelling team, which also includes a data analytics team, decision support, transaction modelling. We work quite a lot with all these different teams, so there's a lot of overlap between what we do and what the data analytics guys do. And within the team, we work across a variety of different sectors, so government, so healthcare, defence, but also financial services, consumer products. It's really kind of a pick and mix of a ton of different sectors with all the kind of big type clients. So this is just an example of the few kind of recent clients we've worked with. So you can see some quite big names there. So Npower in the energy sector, BT in telecoms. We do a lot of work with the NHS because we have a special healthcare team. So we do a lot of work with them as well. And the reason OR is so great is that it really gives you the chance to put your degree into practice. So this is the reason I applied for OR at EY, is because I came into my master's in EY and my master's in OR, and I thought, where can I actually use this? Like, where is a place that I can put these skills into practice? And the OR team at EY really lets you use all these kind of advanced analytic techniques you learn at uni, so optimisation, simulation, analytics, brings all of that together and you can use it in a variety of different projects. So the OR team is London-based. There's about 15 of us at the moment, but we're hoping to grow the team year on year, so we keep hiring graduates and we're also hiring at senior levels. And as I said earlier, we work with all our kind of different specialist teams like analytics, healthcare, transaction modelling.
So we are client-facing, and we would go to the client and we'll help them to understand how the client can do best in what they do, and how can they be sure that they make the right decisions in various business settings, whether it's operation, whether it's workforce planning, or whether it's a supply chain development. There are always business issues that the client needs help, and we are here to help. So we are looking into 3 key areas. So the first one is the optimization models. So we are using some advanced optimization techniques to come up with the optimal solution in the context of various industries. And I think this slide specifically shows a few examples. And so the one on top, we have the supply chain, some screenshots of the model, and then other 2 methodologies. So we also have simulation models. So a few examples are, just go. So actually this one, so we have, so we've developed a British Museum simulation which is an agent-based model, and it simulates the whole museum in a very great level of detail. And the reason why they've asked us to do it, because the number of customers going into the museum is going to increase dramatically, but the museum may not have enough space to fit everyone, and they want to understand how they can make the visitors' experience better by making like new entrances and changing the layout slightly. And this simulation has helped them a lot about dealing with this problem. Finally, the data analytics, like in general, has become really popular with our clients because they want to start. So some clients are not so mature in the data analytics space, so they would start with some descriptive analytics, and we're also going to help them with this. And that some more advanced clients, they would go for like optimization and simulation solutions. And we are helping clients at every stage of their process maturity to make their decisions more data-driven. And this is what it's all about, to make sure that they make the right decisions. This is just, again, a few screenshots of the tools we've developed. We use also like various technologies like VB.NET, like R, Python. Anything else? Yeah. VBA modeling, like Excel. Excel is still popular with the clients.
So what do we do in a typical week? Well, like everyone probably says, there's no typical week, but it's quite varied. So we work a lot with clients, so it's basically a consulting team. So you may be based on client site for a few days a week, kind of embedded in the client organisation. So we might have client meetings, kind of scoping meetings, presenting what we've done, training them up in tools we've used and built for them. And then we'll also have project team meetings, so internal meetings with people on the project to talk about how the project's going, the next milestones, progress updates, all that kind of thing. More meetings, so internal interactions. So we have something called the OI interest group. Every 2 months, we all get together as a team, discuss the important projects we've been working on, anything interesting we've found, any new techniques we've used. It's kind of a sharing platform. And we also have kind of cross-collaboration with, again, like the analytics team, find out if they've been using any new softwares, any new stuff that we could use in our team. There's various different kind of networks within EY, so because it's such a big organisation, you can kind of do anything you want. So there's a women's network, there's a D&I network, there's various different kind of groups of, what is that? So there's like I think mothers and children network. There's like a load of different
societies, like a university.
Like university,
yeah.
Basically societies across London and globally as well. And then obviously it's not all just meetings, we have the technical development, so we actually do the work. So whether it's in Excel or R or SQL or any of the different softwares, there's kind of the time where you're just sat there coding or thinking about the problem, brainstorming ideas. So lots of different activities in a week, and each week is different to the next. And then finally socials, so most weeks there's at least I'd say two drinks with various different groups. And yeah, you can kind of do as much as little social stuff as you would like to.
Yeah.
So how does your career evolve? So if you come in on the grad scheme, you start as an assistant exec. These titles are kind of meaningless, but it gives some kind of structure to the organisation. So both Alex and I joined as assistant execs, and I've just recently been promoted to an executive after 2 years. Alex was promoted, last year. And there's kind of quite a clear progression up the ranks up until partner. And for those of you that don't know, a partner is basically someone that owns part of the firm. So it's the most senior level in the organisation. And you actually, rather than getting a salary, your money depends on how well the firm does. But yeah, clear progression and kind of year-end views every year to kind of let you know if you're tracking well, what areas you can improve in, what areas you're doing well in. So my 2 years at EY. So I've worked on a lot of different projects actually in a few different sectors. So I've worked in healthcare. I worked for an NHS trust doing some analytics work for them. I've worked in government, built an Excel model there. I've worked in real estate and retail and telecoms, so quite varied. And locations-wise, like I said, sometimes you're based on client site. So depending on your viewpoint, I've been lucky or unlucky to be based in Colchester for a few months. Not every day, like we come back to the office on Fridays generally, but for a few weeks I was there. Other outer London, Stansted, quite exciting, went there for a few meetings. And then a little bit further afield, so Berlin, I spent a couple of weeks there. But generally I've been based in London. I haven't been based on client site a huge amount, just going across for meetings and stuff if the client's in London. And the syntax and software I've used. So on joining EY, I hadn't used much of this, so I had some basic kind of Excel and VBA knowledge. Aside from that, I pretty much hadn't used any of these things. But since I've been here, I've done projects with R and SQL, Spotfire, Tableau, Alteryx, and I feel quite comfortable now with all of those softwares, just from learning on the job and the training courses that we've been provided with. So I've briefly mentioned a couple of my example projects already, but you've got the data analytics for an NHS trust there, so we're trying to help them optimise their A&E performance. So first of all, we just did kind of exploratory analysis of their data, tried to explain their data to them, and then there's kind of opportunities for further work there to perhaps do a simulation to help them model the flow of people through the A&E department. And if you come to our stall afterwards, there's actually a little video of a discrete event simulation we've done in the past for an A&E department, which is pretty interesting. I've also done a system dynamics piece for an investment group, so modelling the relationships in the financial system to see how investment can have an impact and sustainable investment can have an impact on society as a whole. So a pretty big system to model, but a really interesting problem to tackle. And yeah, so workforce planning we do a lot of, so I've recently done a workforce planning model. Scenario modelling, we do a lot of Excel modelling as well, just kind of a little bit more basic scenario modelling so the client can go around and play with the different levers. So this was for a local council looking at their car parks and seeing how many spaces they needed and how much they should be charging for various time periods. And finally I've put on here network geomodelling for a car dealership. So optimising where a car dealership placed new branches of their dealership. So taking into account things like where there are other local branches of both their organisation but also competitors. So thinking about where you're going to get the best demand profile basically for their dealerships. So that's a quick whistle-stop tour of a few projects I've done. Alex probably has a couple of minutes to talk a bit more in detail, maybe about one of the projects she's worked on.
Yes, so just briefly about my experience. So in terms of the projects, similar to Zoe, I had a great variety of industries like healthcare, telecommunications, like working with the NHS. Also, my latest project was with a pharma firm where I did their workforce modeling. In terms of locations, some of them are fancier than others. So like Berlin, also Colchester, Nottingham, and I was in London, and I had a lot of London clients as well. So, but my next project is far away from London, somewhere in the north of England. So I'll be there for 3-4 days a week. In terms of the software, like a great range of tools we use from Python to VBA, and Excel. Excel is still, like VBA is still popular. So in terms of the case studies, we have 3 case studies to show, but I think I'm going to just cover perhaps one case study, and then if you can come to our stall and I can show you like a few more case studies we have. But this one is a system dynamics model. So the client, so there was a great shift in the industry. So all telecommunications companies, they've had a lot of cost invested into the copper assets. but with the introduction of fiber products, which allow the internet to be much faster, they've experienced a great change in their cost allocation and investment decisions. And they wanted to model this system and all the stakeholders using the system dynamics approach because it allows modeling all the complicated relationships. And if you pull one lever or another, you can see a knockdown effect on various stakeholders in the system. So, like I said, the first step, we built like a qualitative diagram with all these complicated relationships, and we've run a few workshops with the industry experts internally, because we have a few telecommunication, like industry employees in the firm, and then we also run a workshop with the client, and we try to understand the system. And then as a second step, we've quantified the system using a system dynamics approach. And as a final step, we handed this model over to the client, to the leadership team, and they've been using this model to form decisions around their costing strategy. So it's been a successful project from our point of view, that the client utilized the model a lot, and we've delivered value to their strategic thinking.